Well, it's a great mid-afternoon here in Stockton, California, on the campus of the University of Pacific in Stockton, California. Chris Kelton Pool, the site for today's matchup between the number 4 ranked USC Trojans and the number 3 University of Pacific Tigers. Jeff Dominic with you. Thank you very much for joining us for this one. As the USC Trojans have won 5 in a row after that loss against the University of Pacific Tigers. That was back on September 28th, a 16-15 match in which the Tigers prevailed, and that allowed the Tigers to get a number 3 ranking where they're currently held at right now. The Tigers did come off of a recent loss to the number 1 Stanford Cardinals, and that was a tough one. It was 11-9, I believe it was, the final score. Opening sprint won by the Trojans. Trojans will go from left to right wearing the white caps, red trim, or a dark crimson trim, if you will. Actually, they're wearing more of a darker black number. Tigers wearing the black caps, the orange trim, white numbers. Jeremy Cote matched up on the near side defensively for the Tigers. The first shot will go off the crossbar. Foul will be called first before that with 1 second remaining on the clock, and that will end it. They'll throw it away, and Tigers will have a good first possession. This is Jacob Mersip was on the near side, matched up by Cote. Now the Tigers had a little bit of tough time getting the offense going. Tigers scored 4 goals in the first match against Stanford last week, and then after that were unsuccessful. The first shot attempt is blocked by the front row. That was Jeremy Cote, I believe, with the first shot for the Tigers. Actually correct, and that's going to be Luis Arroyo with the first attempt. And now the Trojans will come back on the near side towards our side. Luke Wyatt will get it over towards Mercer. Mercer back to Wyatt. Wyatt at the top to Mercer, dumps it inside. Taken away by the Tigers, Luis Araya. Turnover on the foul. Trojans led by head coach Marco Pintarich, while the Tigers are led by head coach James Graham. Turnover on the right in the middle of the territories, and on the far side the Tigers will go from right to left. 21 seconds on the shot clock, waiting for the rest of the offense to come back as Luis Araya will get it to Jeremy Cote. Cote over to the top towards Pavlard's area. Actually, that's going to be Araya. Araya will take a swing, but it'll go and reset the shot clock. Kind of looked like it left his hand, but kind of awkwardly, as he may have lost the grip on it, but the Tigers will be benefited with a fresh shot clock on the near side. Tigers with a shot towards the far post will go short, and the Trojans will regain. On the near side is going to be Luke Wyatt. Wyatt to Mersep. Matched up to Donardi. Donardi will get it. They'll get it to the far side. Will the Trojans and Wyatt Mersep, and to Mersep. Up to the top is Earhart. Now we'll get it towards Wyatt. A shot, and it'll go high. No score, 5:14 remaining. That's what's turned into a very, actually a much larger crowd than what we've had even the last couple of weeks. New places to sit, the cement stands. At the top is Araya. Araya's going to be matched up, and a foul on the Trojans. We'll get it with 12 seconds remaining. Will the Tigers? Tigers shot. Goal for the Tigers. Luke Pavillard with the goal. And he mentioned it early on. He had 4 goals in the first matchup against the Trojans, getting the first one and the Tigers on the board as they will lead 1-0. Pavillard will get his 36th goal of the season, his 55th point overall. With 4:54 remaining in the first quarter. We'll see how the USC Trojans will respond. Trojans actually in a very unfamiliar area, as they usually are one of the first to They have one of the highest scoring rates in the nation in the first quarter. They were scoring 50 goals to the opponent's 29 this year. As a shot and a goal for the Trojans will get things knotted back up. That's Hannes Dabe? Dobe, excuse me. So Hannes Dobe will get the goal for the Trojans, and he will tie things up. It's on the near side, going from right to left. An exclusion will be on the Trojans. 6-on-5, fresh shot clock coming up for the Tigers. I'll pass it on to the near side. I believe that's Cote. Cote will get it out to the top to Araya. Back to the far side. One-time attempt, shot, and a deflection as it went back into the center. Trying to loft it in, I believe. May have been Wyatt Barker, so the Trojans will have this tied up at 1 apiece. We'll try and take the first lead of the contest. Wyatt gets to Dosich, and then it will get it taken away. Just for a second, 4 seconds on the shot clock. Off in the center, a shot and a goal as the defender for the Tigers left his man. Marin Dasic with the goal. I believe Andrea Donardi thought that this was going to be a turnover, and he started to leave his man. And as he started to kind of get away, Dasic went right back into the center, got and received a pass, and then scored the goal, the uncontested goal, as it was just one-on-one between him and the goalkeeper, John Barry. So the Tigers trailing 2-1. Get it to the far side and dump it off into the center. It's going to be an exclusion. So the second exclusion held by the Trojans, and the Tigers will get a fresh shot clock and another 6-on-5. The top. There's a right, then he'll swing it around to the far side. Back up to the top. Hands go up, trying to get a defense. A deflection and taken away by the Trojans. That was a great leaping attempt, as there's going to be a turnover on an outlet pass that was going to Dobe. Went too far, and John Barry with a heads-up takeaway. On the far side, off the crossbar. The shot by the Tigers went by a matter of inches, so the Trojans look to extend their lead with Mercep. Mercep gets it up to the top, back to Mercep. Looking to dump it off in the middle. Losing control momentarily. And a shot and blocked. I'm going to say that's going to stay right here after the block by John Barry. .157 remaining. And Longton will get over towards Mercep. And sidearm shot, blocked once again by John Barry. This time the possession will go onto the far side. Another possession for the Trojans. Longton on the near side. 25 on the shot clock. Get it to Mercep, then goes, swings it up to the top. I believe that's Earhart at the top. Looking to dump it off. They wanted to get it in, dumped off to Slobodian. Heads up play by the Tigers. I believe that was Luke Pavilar that took it away. Long outlet pass. Will be too long, and recovering will be Dobe. for the Trojans. I apologize, that was Mercep that wound up getting the steal and taking it away. Longton with a shot, and it was actually partially deflected by Luke Pavillard, and it went wide right. So John Barry now will try and help his offense get set up. 1 minute exactly remaining on the first quarter clock. 15 on the shot clock is on the far side. We'll dump it off into the middle. An exclusion. So 3 exclusions for the Trojans, and the Tigers need to get something going. See a great shot of the student section.
Exclusion called on number 10, Matt Meyer.
That exclusion was on Matt Meyer, and timeout called by the Pacific Tigers. Both teams kind of feeling each other out, and it was kind of interesting to watch the little bit of psychological warfare that was kind of being played right before the opening sprint. The Trojans were all the way on the far side of the pool, nowhere near where the playing area would be.
And then right after the timeout, 30-second final charge to the Tigers.
So taking a quick look at a timeouts that are left. Tigers with 3 full, 1 partial. Trojans with 2 full, 1 partial. Tigers were charged.
Once again, Tigers also by number 4, Ege Kolak.
Doing so also, I didn't even notice the Tigers had scored a goal by Ege Kolak. Mercep will get it to Longton, and the Tigers are going to be charged with their first exclusion. Mercep up at the top to Karaman. Karaman looks to get it around. We'll get it towards to Dobe, back to Mercep. 26 seconds remaining on the game clock as a shot and blocked by John Barry. So 2-2 our score, 15 seconds remaining on the for the first quarter. Trying to catch on the last few seconds of the shot, and it'll be blocked by the Trojans goalkeeper. And right after 1, it's 2-2, all knotted up between the number 4 USC Trojans and the University of Pacific Tigers here at Chris Kelton Pool.
My name is Brinley Barthels. I came to Pacific because I was actually looking at water polo programs, and it was one of the better programs in the state. And they also had a great science program. So their biology and chemistry departments especially were very rigorous, and something that I knew would prepare me well for my future. When I visited the school, I saw a lot of chemistry labs and the opportunity for people to do research in the chemistry department, and that was something I was really excited about. My research, when I started, we began with peptide synthesis. So basically taking these small building blocks called amino acids, putting them all together and forming long chains. So Alzheimer's in particular is manifested because peptides are created at different lengths. So we are able to take those peptides, recreate them in the lab, and analyze their function and factors that make them non-functional. So my grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple years ago, so it's extremely personal to me that, you know, I'm able to take this research that I'm doing and apply it back to my own life. It's humbling and also exciting that I am able to do these small experiments and look at these small peptides and know that somewhere, somehow, someone is going to take my research or the research that my lab is doing and use it on something bigger like these diseases. Prospective freshmen come in and they're asking, well, why should we choose Pacific? You know, what's the academics like? The first thing I say every time is that the research aspect in the chemistry department especially is very unique. I know a lot of people that go to different schools in California or even in the United States that have never stepped foot in a research laboratory. The opportunities presented here are extremely important and extremely unique to Pacific. And everyone that asks me, I say the best part about this school is the research aspect, definitely.
2-2 our scores. We get you ready for the second quarter sprint. Jeff Dominic with you. Thank you very much for joining us here in Stockton, California on the campus of the University of Pacific. Chris Kelton-Poole between the number 4 ranked USC Trojans and the number 3 University of Pacific Tigers. Ege Kolak and Luke Pavillard, the scoring summary for the Tigers. Anes Dobe and Marin Dosic, both the 2 Trojans with goals. Trojans are usually the ones that are scoring in abundance. They have scored 50 goals this season. Tigers will win the opening sprint in the second quarter. As they scored 50 goals to an opponent's 29, while both teams scored 2 apiece. On the far side goes Luke Pavillard. Pavillard will get it to a little bit further out. We'll pass it around, slinging it around. We'll get it back once again. 8 on the shot clock to Denardi. Denardi will just pass it up to the top. And we'll have to sling it. Shot and will be blocked fairly easily by Vayos Lahotosios. Getting back is Mercep. Get it near side to Wyatt. Wyatt and Mercep have been kind of doing the give and goes, and a shot will go wide right, or wide left actually, as you look for on the screen. Tigers going from right to left, wearing the black caps, white numbers, orange trim. Trojans wearing the, looks to be like a navy blue or actually a potentially black numbering on their caps, wearing the white caps. Tigers once again will go to the far side. 12 on the shot clock. We'll dump it off inside. A foul will be called. A penalty on the Tigers before they could dump it off inside. The Trojans will kick it back towards the near side to Wyatt. Wyatt matched up by Andrea Denardi. Over towards Mercep. Mercep against Luis Araya. They're going to call a foul on Araya. A shot. Before the shot, there's going to be a foul, but it'll be blocked either way, so no score, and John Berry will control the possession for the Tigers. A dump off inside. A potential one-on-one. Before that, I believe there's going to be a 5-meter penalty shot. That was on Jake Earhart, and if that is, that's his second exclusion, so he has to play a little more conservatively. A 5-meter penalty will be assessed. The Tigers looking to take this lead here. In reflection on the water, I'm not able to tell exactly who that may be. It almost looks like either Jeremy Cote is a shot, skip shot. Will hit off the crossbar, and the Trojans will head back the other way. Long outlet pass to the far side for the Trojans. Back up to the top towards Earhart. Earhart will get it to the near side towards Wyatt. Wyatt towards Mercep. They'll dump it off inside, and no one will be home as they were trying to get it into Dobe. I think Dobe started to cut inward and kind of got backed up as he was trying to receive the entry-level pass, and it went for naught. Now the Tigers will swing it around towards the near side. A shot, goal for the Tigers. towards the far post, and the Tigers will take the lead. Jeremy Cote. For Jeremy Cote, that'll be his 32nd goal this season, his 50th point this season. And the Tigers will take the lead 3-2. So the Tigers get the opening goal of this quarter. And swinging it around will go the Trojans as they go from left to right. Already only 15 on the shot clock. Towards Earhart, towards Dosick and Wyatt. Quick shot, and he'll go in, falling backwards for the goal. Marin Dosick, once again, he'll get his second goal, the senior from Croatia, to tie this up at 3 apiece. John Barry calling for a pass and will let his offense get set up for the Tigers. Slinging around was Cote. He'll get it over towards Denardi, I believe. Actually, that's Barker. That is the first time we've mentioned his name. Try to dump it off inside towards Ege Kolak, and it will get taken away by 2 Trojan defenders. A turnover after a foul on the, I believe that's on Dobey. So Dobey's had an up and down type of day. It's timeout called by the Tigers bench, and I believe James Graham called the timeout. And the student section, I think, is USC may have gotten called on an exclusion. I'm not sure who it was, but the way that the student section was reacting, I almost kind of thought it was going to be on Earhart, and if that is, he'd be done. Our score, and offensive. Yeah, it was actually, this exclusion is going to be on Thomas Dobey, and it'll be a 6-on-5, and for him, that will be his first exclusion. So I was thinking that the way that the crowd was reacting, if it was on Earhart, that would have been his third, but he's the only one that's really in significant trouble as far as exclusions go on both sides. Tigers are 1 for 3 in exclusions. For USC, they're 3 of 10. Tigers 3 of 12. Right at 300 for the Trojans, 250 for the Tigers as they get set up for this 6-on-5. Barry will get things started. The goalkeeper for the Tigers has been stellar over the last, this whole season. Is at the top is Pavlard. We'll get it to the far side, swinging it around. We'll get it back up to the top. Looking for an opening, a long cross pass, a shot, goal for the Tigers. A skip shot goal will put the Tigers back in the lead. Matthew Hosmer, first time we've said his name tonight, into the scoring column. The freshman gives the Tigers the lead. I should say back the lead with 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining here in the half. The Tigers are successful in their second of 5 exclusions. That was one thing that had a hard time going up against Stanford last week. The exclusions, no team could score on either's defense. USC getting it from the, we'll get it from the left side. We'll get it up to the top. over towards Longton. Longton a shot and blocked. Stoppage will be called. A 5-meter penalty will be called. And Slobodian will come towards the middle of the pool and will back off. It'll be a penalty on John Barry, and looks like Jacob Mersep. It is Jacob Mersep will take the shot. Backing off and up, and in a goal for the Trojans to tie this back up. Mersep with the goal. So Mersep will get his first goal to tie things up. 3:41 remaining in the first half. 4-4 our score. I think a little bit of discussion on the far side referee that wants to get the crowd to sit down. Dump off in the middle. Shot, goal for the Tigers. What a shot. Andrea Donardi was dumped off into the middle, and Donardi had just enough behind it just to get his 15th goal of the season. That's how quickly things could change after the penalty shot by Mersep goes in to tie this up. The Tigers answered right back. And I was just about to say how more of a low-scoring affair this game has started to turn out after the 16-15 game off just a couple of weeks ago. An exclusion will be held on the Tigers. And a shot off the post. And right as I was just even pretty much thinking that, we had a flurry of about 3 goals in about a minute and a half. Tigers looking to extend the lead. Araya will get it up to the top. Towards Pavillard, blocked into the front line. Shot, goal for the Tigers. Ege Kolak on the rebound. It was a deflected shot, and as it came back, Ege Kolak, right place, right time, to get his second goal of the afternoon, and the Tigers lead 6-4. I don't know how some of the student section does it. They're wearing these orange suits with the Pacific Tiger gear. And it's a warm day. It's not a hot day, but it's definitely a warm day. Now the Trojans, that trail by 2, will get it towards Mersep at the top. Dump it off into the middle. And before that, there's going to be a foul that will be called. Pass it out towards Wyatt. Dumped off into Mersep and losing the handle on it is Slobodian. He kind of gives a little bit of a frustrated look, and I think he gets called for the exclusion. Dump off. Back up to the top, I should say. Swing it around. 6 on 5. There's going to be, I'm going to say there should have been a foul on that one. There was a pretty much a linebacker hit, type of hit. Off towards the top, flipping it back. An exclusion will be called on the Trojans. A little bit of frustration on that side now. It'll be a another 6 on 5, actually more like a 6 on 4 look, but it's going to be a 6 on 5 as one of the players that was called for the exclusion. And a 5-meter penalty will be called. 3 defenders pretty much. And that was Dasick with the that was called for it, Marin Dasick. So many exclusions over in the recent events have called for this 5-meter penalty. I believe this Luis Araya looks like, as he'll take the shot. Goal for the Tigers, 7-4. Luis Araya getting the goal, only his 9th of the season, which we're fairly accustomed to seeing him over his first 3 years here at Pacific. He's been a fairly offensively powerhouse, but really taking a little bit of a different role, only getting his 9th goal of the season. But the Tigers lead this one 7-4, and a lot of flurries of exclusions, then followed by this 5-meter penalty, really hurting the Trojans here in this first half. Going by some of the numbers, the Trojans 4 of 12, only shooting .333, but they've had 8 exclusions today. For the Tigers, they're 7 of 17, that's .412, and I think head coach James Graham will take that any day. They're only experiencing 3 exclusions. 0 for 2 are the Trojans in those exclusions, while the Tigers are 3 for 6. Tigers 1 for 2 in penalty shots, while the Trojans are 1 for 1, and that kind of brings you up to date as far as the game stats. Individually, Marin Dasick will have 2 goals, and he leads the way for the Trojans. He has 2 points. Anes Dove with the goal, as well as Jacob Merchep for the Tigers. And I was saying earlier that Luke Pavelar needed to be involved. Well, guess what? He really is. It's been a goal and a 2-assist day for the redshirt senior. Ege Kolak with 2 goals. Leads the way in points as far as goals go for the Tigers. As we go back to action, Trojans with possession on the far side will get it over. A long cross pull pass towards Wyatt. We'll get it back to Merchep. Back to Wyatt. They've been the duo going, giving goes. A shot blocked by Barry. Getting his left hand extended and getting enough of it to knock it straight down. And a long outlet pass and a skip shot attempt just goes high, as the Tigers are feeling a little bit more confident as an outlet pass goes one-on-one with the goalkeeper. And a shot, and it hits the top crossbar. Just taking a quick look, I think that was Marin Dasick. Probably won't get an easier shot like that or an easier attempt, as it would be one-on-one with the goalkeeper, which you dream of pretty much every time you turn around, whether it be in soccer, water polo, hockey, you name it. A one-on-one is always the favorable and fun matchup. The foul on the Tigers will have the turnover here, and both coaching staffs.
9 white, 8 black on the exclusions.
I'm going to say Jeremy Cote will be excluded, and for the Tigers, or excuse me, for the Trojans, should be Jacob Merchep, both called for the exclusions. Head coach James Graham is absolutely beside himself. He's not happy with the call. A little dump off taken away just for a second. Tapped away as they was trying to get dumped off into the middle. And the Tigers will control. Andrea Donardi will move it up the pool for the Tigers. So he's going to slow things down. 11 on the clock. I think it's going to be kind of more of a keep away at this point. Foul on the Trojans. A shot will be deflected, and that will end it for the first half. An eventful first half, and depending on which side you look at it, I think the eventful is probably the best term and words you could use at the moment. But after one half of play, the Tigers lead the Trojans 7-4 from Chris Kelson-Poole.
My name is Brynlee Barthels. I came to Pacific because I was actually looking at water polo programs, and it was one of the better programs in the state. And they also had a great science program. So their biology and chemistry departments especially were very rigorous, and something that I knew would prepare me well for my future. When I visited the school, I saw a lot of chemistry labs and the opportunity for people to do research in the chemistry department, and that was something I was really excited about. My research, when I started, we began with peptide synthesis. So basically taking these small building blocks called amino acids, putting them all together and forming long chains. So Alzheimer's in particular is manifested because peptides are created at different lengths. So we are able to take those peptides, recreate them in the lab, and analyze their function and factors that make them non-functional. So my grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple years ago, so it's extremely personal to me that, you know, I'm able to take this research that I'm doing and apply it back to my own life. It's humbling and also exciting that I am able to do these small experiments and look at these small peptides and know that somewhere, somehow, someone is going to take my research or the research that my lab is doing and use it on something bigger like these diseases. Prospective freshmen come in and they're asking, well, why should we choose Pacific? You know, what's the academics like? And the first thing I say every time is that the research aspect in the chemistry department especially is very unique. I know a lot of people that go to different schools in California or even in the United States that have never stepped foot in a research laboratory. The opportunities presented here are extremely important and extremely unique to Pacific. And everyone that asks me, I say the best part about this school is the research aspect, definitely.
My brother did swimming, and so I'm from a family of 4, so I looked up to my older siblings, so I just kind of followed his suit and kind of just followed his footsteps. And then my sophomore year, I hit the massive improvements, and that's when I really hit swimming, and I was really drawn into the sport, and I was like, no, this is what I want to do. Even if there are failures and there are challenges, this is just so rewarding to put in this work and try every day and then be rewarded by your hard work. Yeah, the day starts at 5:30, and then probably the last thing I end at is probably 7:30 in the afternoon when practice ends. Go home, have dinner, try to get a few more hours of studying in before I gotta go to bed early. It's hard sometimes waking up at 4:45 in the morning when you have to study, but I've never missed a morning practice for a test. And I've always gone to test day and gone to morning practice at the same time. So if there's a test on Friday, you better bet I'm at 5:30 practice, and then I roll out and I go to the test at 8. It's just how it works. You have to manage your expectations. I don't have a 4.0, but I have a pretty high respectable GPA. I made the dean's list in the business school, Beta Gamma Sigma Honor Society. It's all about time management, how bad you want to be successful. I'd like to take all the connections I've made through swimming, the business school, the student investment fund, and really grow that into somewhere in banking. Being a financial representative would be something I really would want to do. The ultimate goal would be a financial representative for athletes. I think the business school has really accelerated my growth as a person. It's really pushed me to places I've never thought I'd go. It challenged me in ways, and then just being the student athlete part made me be something that I didn't think I could be. You know, it made me be someone who needs to be really organized, needs to be on top of my stuff. I can't just take a week off. Being a student athlete and being a double major has just made me challenge myself.
Seven to 4 as we get ready for the start of the second half. Jeff Dominic with you. Thank you very much for joining us. Trojans trailing 7 to 4 to the Pacific Tigers really have had a about 4-minute span where the Trojans have not been able to score. They're led by Marin Dasic, who's had 2 goals, the senior, this afternoon. The Tigers are led by Ege Kolak, who's had 2 goals and a lot of flurries of exclusions by the Trojans. In total, they've had a total of 8 this afternoon here in the first half. Tigers have been able to capitalize on 3 of those, one of those being the 5-meter penalty. The Tigers will go from left to right. Swinging it around, the Tigers wear the black caps, white numbers, orange trim. And a turnover with the Trojans with a long outlet pass was actually knocked away before they were able to, the Trojans were able to recover. Earhart will control it and get it to the near side. And I actually happen to notice there's also a gold SC on the top as a shot will go in. Sam Slobidian with the goal, his first for the senior from Irvine, California. Covers roughly about a 4.5-minute span of the Trojans not able to get a goal. The Tigers were scoring, had scored 4 unanswered at that point. So Tigers come on to the near side. Astonishing, and it'll be taken away, and actually a foul before the turnover with 10 on the shot clock. Stonic before the shot. Foul will be called on the Tigers, and a turnover. Quickly, a long outlet pass towards the far side. Backing it out towards Earhart. A shot that will be deflected on the front line and will go high over the crossbar. Took 10 seconds before Barry will get it over towards Luke Pavillard. An exclusion will be called on the Trojans. So another 6 on 5, the 9th one. Karaman on the exclusion. Up to the top, Stonic will get to Pavillard. Stonic. And a foul will be called on the inside. I believe actually Andrea Donardi will be called for it. Swing it around Dobe. Up towards Earhart. Pushing it towards the far side, back up to the top, towards Dobe. Inside, and we'll go out. Last touch was on the inside by the Trojans, and so far, other than the 1 goal, it's been a minute and a half of both teams kind of filling each other out for the second half. Dump off inside. Shot, goal off the deflection of the goalkeeper and the crossbar. Tigers will score it. It's 8-5. Bogdan Jerkovic with the goal. 13th of the season, 14th point overall. The Tigers will extend this lead back to 3 with 5:25 remaining in the third quarter. It's 8-5. Late substitution coming in for the Tigers. A couple of players that you wouldn't expect to have seen have decent days, and Jerkovic is one of them as well for the Tigers. Trojans looking to get an answer back here and close this deficit from the top. Looked like that was Earhart. A little bit of a glare. It's kind of, I believe that was correct on the cap. And the shot blocked by Barry. The shot from this near side for the Trojans. That was taken by Earhart, I believe. Now the Tigers will take the next possession. Dumped off near the inside, taken away, shot, and blocked by Vios Vlahotasios. I've tried to practice that one so many times. That was first time I felt better behind it. Now I second guessed myself. Cross pull pass and a shot, and will go in for the Trojans as it'll be 8-6. Yellow card issued. Jake Earhart will get credit for the goal, and a yellow card been issued to the Trojans coaching staff. I believe that might have been on Marco Pinterich. So it's 8-6. And for the Tigers, Luke Pavillard will set things up for the Tigers. Pavillard had it knocked away just for a moment. Dumped off towards the far side. A foul will be called on the Trojans. Shot, goal for the Tigers. A skip shot. And this lead goes back to threes, 9-6. Jeremy Cote. Cote will get his second goal of the afternoon. Nine to 6 our score. Really the biggest difference so far this afternoon was that second quarter where there was multiple exclusions, a 5-meter penalty, and a couple of exclusion goals scored by the Tigers allowed this change of the score, and it was going to be a foul on the Tigers. Actually, a 6-on-5, I believe. So I think they're going to have to reset the shot clock. I'm going to double check on when the exclusion was, because the shot clock should have changed. So it should be 24 remaining on the shot clock, I believe. I'm actually going to just give the time back, so it's going to be 3:35 on the after the exclusion, and a fresh shot clock for the Trojans. Long outlet pass onto the near side towards Dobey, and then we'll get it over towards Merchep. Dump it off, back up towards Earhart. Now we'll get it back inside. Good defense by the Tigers. We'll have to get it towards, once again, dumped inside. Shot, goal for the Trojans. Sam Slobidian will get his second goal, and I believe that's his second goal in this quarter. 9-7 our score, 3:10 in the third. John Berry. Get it over towards the near side, towards Jordan Stanek. Up to the top for the Tigers, dumped off in the middle. I think he was gonna, there's gonna be an exclusion. Ege Kolak was ripped.
Called on number 10, Matt Meyer.
Stanek get it towards the near sides toward Pavlard. Pavlard back to Stanek, up to the top. Will be deflected by the front line. The Trojans looking to cut this deficit just a little more as they trail 9-7. Swinging it around. Wind up towards the top, towards Earhart. Dumped off in the middle. An exclusion will be held on the Tigers. Timeout will be called. Head coach James Graham.
Exclusion called on number 10, Matthew Hosmer.
Hosmer will be called for the exclusion. James Graham was, once again, he's extremely animated, and timeout was called. Timeouts remaining. Tigers have 2 full. That's all they have left. For the Trojans, 1 full, 1 partial. 2:16 remaining here in the third. Number 3, Pacific Tigers. Number 4, University of Southern California Trojans. Right now, scoring recap, game stats. 9 goals on 23 shots for the Tigers, 7 goals on 20 shots for the Trojans. They've improved their shooting percentage by about 20 points. But the exclusions are the big difference. 11 exclusions for the Trojans to only Tigers 6. And the Trojans are 0 for 5 while the Tigers are 2 for 8. And if you count the penalty shot, they have converted 1 of 2 while the Trojans have converted 1. Last time these 2 teams matched up, it was a 16-15 victory for the Tigers. So Trojans going from right to left will have the 6-on-5 advantage. 18 on the clock, shot clock, excuse me. Let's go up towards the tops, towards Earhart. Towards Wyatt, and we'll get it towards Dobey. A holding foul will be called on the Trojans, and quickly coming up towards the near side of the pool come the Tigers and Luke Pavlard. Pavlard spins around and was looking for potential help. We'll just slow it down and we'll set it up for the rest of his offense. Luis Araya at the top. We'll swing it around towards the far side. Another exclusion called, and a one-time shot attempt taken by Ege Kolak.
That last exclusion was on number 10, Matt Meyer. He's done.
Matt Meyer called for the exclusion. That will be his final. He is done for the rest of the contest, but the Trojans still currently with the possession. Shot blocked by Barry. Another shot blocked by Barry. Back it off, and 28 seconds remaining on the shot clock. 1 minute remaining in the third. And a shot, this one will go in for the Trojans.
USC goal scored by number 13, Luke Wyatt.
Luke Wyatt with the goal. First time we've put him in the scoring column. And this lead is now to 1 for the Tigers. 9-8 with 57 seconds remaining in the third. Tigers with a plethora of substitutions. Trojans getting a late one in as well. Alexander Lancel.
Yellow card has been issued to Pacific's head coach James Graham.
Head coach James Graham just got issued a yellow card. Outlet pass comes to Luke Pavillard. Will swing it 3/4 of the top of the pool. Dumped off inside. Shot, goal for the Tigers. Ege Kolak with the hot trick. So this lead moves back to 2, 10 to 8, excuse me. Ege Kolak has been the story for the first 3 quarters.
Porter's in goal. He's in goal.
Okay. They switched up. Nick Porter now in goal for the Trojans. The Trojans will go from right to left, looking to get a final shot attempt in as it dumped off in the middle, and a shot in the goal. Correction. Double checking. I want to say that there was a goal. There was a goal scored. It was Honest Obey. It'll be
given to number 11.
So the goal will stand. 10 to 9 our score. 10 seconds remaining on the 3rd quarter. Before that, it'll be a exclusion. 4 on the clock, and it'll hit off the crossbar with 2 seconds remaining. And that will do it. So 3 quarters have come and gone here at Chris Kelton Pool. And the Tigers lead this one over the Trojans by a score of 10 to 9. We'll be back with the final 4th quarter here from Chris Kelton Pool in just a moment.
My name is Brynley Barthels. I came to Pacific because I was actually looking at water polo programs, and it was one of the better programs in the state. And they also had a great science program. So their biology and chemistry departments especially were very rigorous, and something that I knew would prepare me well for my future. When I visited the school, I saw a lot of chemistry labs and the opportunity for people to do research in the chemistry department, and that was something I was really excited about. My research, when I started, we began with peptide synthesis. So basically taking these small building blocks called amino acids, putting them all together and forming long chains. So Alzheimer's in particular is manifested because peptides are created at different lengths. So we are able to take those peptides, recreate them in the lab, and analyze their function and factors that make them non-functional. So my grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple years ago, so it's extremely personal to me that, I'm able to take this research that I'm doing and apply it back to my own life. It's humbling and also exciting that I am able to do these small experiments and look at these small peptides and know that somewhere, somehow, someone is going to take my research or the research that my lab is doing and use it on something bigger like these diseases. Prospective freshmen come in and they're asking, well, why should we choose Pacific? What's the academics like? And the first thing I say every time is that the research aspect in the chemistry department especially is very unique. I know a lot of people that go to different schools in California or even in the United States that have never set foot in a research laboratory. The opportunities presented here are extremely important and extremely unique to Pacific. And everyone that asks me, I say the best part about this school is the research aspect, definitely.
Fourth quarter about to get underway here at Chris Kelton Pool between the number 4 ranked University of Southern California Trojans and the number 3 University of Pacific Tigers. Jeff Dominic with you. Thank you very much for joining us. 10-9 our score in favor of the Tigers, but both teams, it's been a game with a lot of actions, a lot of exclusions. We'll get you up to date as far as the exclusions go, but 13 exclusions in total for the Trojans compared to the Tigers 6. One player for the Trojans is no longer going to be playing the rest of this day, is going to be, if I count the number correctly, yeah, it's going to be 10, Matt Meyer, opening sprint, controlled by the Tigers here for the fourth quarter for the fourth and final time. The Tigers lead this one 10-9. Ege Kolak has been the leading scorer for the Tigers. A foul called on the Trojans. Luke Pavlar dumped it off inside. And before he was able to, Ege Kolak was called for the foul, and it will be going to the Trojans. Trojans have 3 players with 2 goals apiece. They dumped off in the middle. 3 Tigers converge. Finally, actually an exclusion is going to be called. Both coaches have already been charged with a yellow card. So a 6-on-5 for the Trojans. Luis Araya, as that is blocked, deflected right back towards the top to the Trojans on the front line. Dumped off to the near side. A shot and a goal scored by the Trojans to tie this up. Correction, that actually did not go inside. I thought it did. By the looks of my angle, I thought it went in. So the Tigers still remain the lead. 6:50 remaining. At the top, 2 Trojans converge. Dump off shot. Blocked by Porter, who came in. And now a shot blocked by John Berry, who's fired up. So Berry will get it in towards Stanek. Dumped off inside. Shot by Djurkovic goes to the right. So 11-9 our score. Excuse me, 10-9 our score. And a shot blocked by Berry. Once again, Berry has had to come up strong over this last couple of minutes. 10 saves in total. And a shot blocked by Porter off into the middle. Trying to catch inside was Djurkovic. And another block by Porter. And a shot. This one will go in for the Trojans. They'll tie this up 10 apiece. Jacob Monchep with the score. His second. Excuse me, Merchep. So he joins Slovidian, Dobe, Dosick with 2 goals apiece. Marco Pintaric assessed a second yellow card. So it was once a 3-goal lead for the Tigers. The Trojans have come back to tie this up. Foul on the Trojans. Launching up, 3 Trojans went high in the air, blocking and trying to make a wall. A fake dump off in the middle. Before that, an exclusion will be called. A 6-on-5. Earhart called with his 3rd exclusion. That is the hard one right there. Timeout called by Coach James Graham. (10-10) our score. 2 players for the Trojans no longer in this contest. Matt Meyer as well as Jake Earhart both no longer available. Although Jacob Merchep is the one that you have to watch out for. He leads the team in goals. He's got 2 exclusions, so you have to watch out. And that affects the way you want to play if you're an aggressive player. Like we've seen Merchep can be, kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to do what you normally are accustomed to doing. 6-on-5 upcoming for the Tigers. After the Earhart exclusion, Tigers will get the 6-on-5. We'll get it towards Kolak. Kolak back to Pavillard. Pavillard swinging it around just above his head. Back up towards the top. Now we'll get it to the far side. Back to Luke Pavillard. Pavillard dump it off. A one-timer goal for the Tigers. Andrea Donardi. Donardi had a solid game about a week and a half ago against UC Davis, where he had a hat trick and an assist. Luke Pavillard in that game as well had 4 goals and 4 assists. But we said at the top that Luke Pavillard would have to be the guy that made this engine run for the Tigers if they were going to have the success that they needed in order to take on a tough team like the Trojans have been known to be. Turnover on the Trojans. 4:33 remaining. And an exclusion will be called on the Trojans. A long outlet pass.
Exclusion called on number 6,
Dassett called with the exclusion. That's only his second.
USC.
And a timeout called. Calling for a 30. So both teams with just a full timeout remaining, with 4:26 remaining here in the game. 11-10 our score. Porter will get it up to the top for the Trojans. Swinging it around towards Merchep. And then Wyatt, and then we'll get it towards Dobe. Dobe back up to the top. Dumped off in the middle. Shot. Goal for the Trojans.
USC goal scored by number 2, Sam Silvadian.
I believe that was on, one was scored by Dobe. If that's the case, he's got a hat trick for the afternoon. And they've changed a couple of scoring. It's Slovidian with 3 goals, as well as Dosic. Dobeg has 1 goal. Tigers will have it with 6 on the clock. Shot, goal for the Tigers. A skip shot that slid in under the hands of Porter. And Luis Araya will get the goal. His second. Give him a total of 10 goals this season. (12 to 11) our score. Tigers just regaining the lead, 3:35 remaining. Fairchep slinging around towards Wyatt. Trojans going from right to left. Whitecaps. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Shot, an easy deflection by Barry. Quite possibly the easiest one he's had all day. That one was more telegraphed and kind of a last-second attempt before the shot clock expired. The Tigers will have it with a shot, and it was almost in. Luke Pavlard with a skip shot that hit the crossbar. Pass towards the center. That will go off the crossbar and right towards a Tiger who scoops it up. I believe that was Stonick that gathered it, handed it back off to Barry. Stonick will get it towards Pavlard. Pavlard backs off, gives it to Stonick. 8 on the shot clock. Gonna have to dump it off one time. Just missing it once again. Andrea Donardi this time. Porter on the fortunate ends of a couple of these last couple of shots. Merchep rises high, will go and pass it off into the near side. And a shot hits off the far side post. Tigers will take possession. And I like what Karaman just did. He actually put a lot of pressure on the rebound until it was officially gathered in by Stonick. So now the Tigers with the 1-goal lead, 12 on the shot clock. Pavlar goes to the far side one time. Just missed it once again. I believe it was Andrea Donardi once again. Student section getting up, yelling the chance of defense with 1:10 remaining. At the top, Trojans will get it. The shot, skip shot goes high. 58 seconds remaining. It's kind of hard to really vote for who's been the standout person for the Tigers, but both teams have done a fantastic job back and forth. Trojans were down as many as 3, come back, and this score right now, 12 to 11. 34 seconds remaining. Stonick, a little bit of a fake, a foul. Stonick still has a shot. That's off the crossbar once again. Porter kind of puts his hand up just to kind of calm everybody down. 24 seconds remaining. A full timeout called by the coaching staff for the Trojans. And this is kind of what you would expect with a number 3, number 4 matchup. These two teams have met already once before. The Tigers were on the beneficiary side of it that time too, a 16-15 victory. Trojans riding high off of a 4-game winning streak, in which that also entailed a beating at one point in time, #1 UC Santa Barbara. Then recently they dropped in the polls to #4. The Trojans have now taken over the #4 spot as of the rankings that came out as of Wednesday. Tigers retained the #3 spot. Over the last week, they beat #10 UC Davis, and then did falter to #1 Stanford. Both teams coming in with 2 losses. Tigers are at 10-2, while the Trojans at 9-2. Tigers have been led by the senior Ege Kolak, Andrea Donardi, Luis Araya, and Jeremy Cote with 2 goals apiece. For the Trojans, Sam Slobedian has 3 goals, as well as Marin Dasic. Jacob Merchep, their leading goal scorer for the Trojans, has 2. With 24 seconds remaining, getting a few final words by head coach Marco Pintaric. Coach James Graham pointing out some spots for the Tigers. Porter will get it in towards the Tigers' possession side, or Tigers' side. Small foul with 15 seconds remaining. A shot blocked. And with 13 seconds remaining, John Barry will receive a pass. And you can hear it. I don't really have to say a whole lot more. The student section and everybody else is letting you know where this ends. Luke Pavlar with hands high in the air, and the Tigers will win this one 12-11. What an amazing, and I'm running out of lack of term, but that was an amazing contest by both sides. Tigers were leading as much as 3 going towards the 3rd quarter. The Trojans would come back and tie this one up at 10, and then the Tigers would kind of alternate goals between the Tigers and the Trojans before the Tigers would take one more and the main one. The next time that the Tigers will be at home, that will be against Pepperdine on Saturday, October 26th. That's at 12 o'clock, and we hope you can join us there here at Chris Kelton Pool. But what a fun one for everybody, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I was able to bring it to you. Rebecca Sharman, the staffing for the table, want to thank her, and she's done an amazing job with this table staff, as they did a great job all day long. Michael January, the video coordinator and director, want to thank him for everything he did and makes me sound all so much better. I want to thank you all very much, as I'm Jeff Domick for the final score for the final time. The #3 University of Pacific Tigers win this one over the #4 USC Trojans by a score of 12-11. Here from Chris Kelton Pool. Have a great rest of your afternoon, everybody.